Project Playtime just got a ton of massive updates for Season 2 with new cosmetics, new balancing, a new map, new abilities, and so much more that we're going to be going over all over today, along with some problems that I have with the new update. Like the video if you're hyped, but let's just get right into it. So yesterday on May 31st, after a few months of delays, we finally got ourselves Project Playtime Phase 2. And while the new season's release wouldn't be until later in the day, the game that we would get was absolutely phenomenal. As for starters, upon release, we'd get a brand new launch trailer for the game, which mostly just gives us some cool shots of Huggy Wuggy and nothing really much more. However, after this trailer released, Phase 2 would finally come out, giving us a ton of different updates to the game. Starting first with the new locations. First, we finally got ourselves the brand new Destroy a Toy map released into the game, which is something that has existed in the game's files since launch and has gone through many different variations, landing us in this steampunk fiery type room reminiscent of something from Toy Story 3. But this map looks absolutely gorgeous. It appears to be the biggest map of them all, at least in sheer size, being incredibly tall and featuring tons of different ways to escape, but also get trapped with the monster. Plus, with characters like Boxy Boo anyway, the map is designed around mobility and making sure that the game is possible to play as the monster, unlike, say, the factory where getting stuck is commonplace. And although it's not perfect, I noticed moving around the map was just a lot more fun, excluding these super tight corners up in the middle. And also what's interesting is upon exploring, we see a lot of weird art around the map in this brand new art style, which we saw in the original trailer of Huggy and Kissy Missy, along with now the rest of the characters, which I've theorized before could be telling us that this location was built and activated way before the rest of the buildings in the factory, since these drawings look more dated and are in a classic rubber house style seen from old cartoons. But what's most interesting inside this map is that if we explore some more, we could find a brand new poster in the game that says, "Take every step like it's your last," with a bunch of different stuffed animals running straight into a sign pointing towards the play care. Very interesting. The second new location that we got was actually a brand new spawn room as well, which this time is much bigger than just a train station and includes multiple different platforms to practice the movements and mechanics before the game starts, along with a whole new arcade themed area where we get to play all of the puzzle pillar games to practice and also while we wait for the games to start, which is an amazing and very important touch to have, since sometimes trying to figure out how the new puzzles work can be a bit of a hassle. Plus, alongside these new maps, we also got some minor updates to the Survivor tutorial map, along with some updated visuals apparently to the original Toy Factory and Theaters map, most of which seem to be purely cosmetic and looks to change the lighting a bit, which I actually really like the style of. But moving on from maps, the next thing I want to discuss is the brand new content in the game to play, which there's actually a lot to talk about. For starters, we have a brand new puzzle added into the game, which is just a spin around to make an image puzzle, nothing really much more to it, although it's honestly super annoying to play. Secondly, there's also been a ton of stuff done to the progression system in Project Playtime, adding new daily login XP rewards and ways to earn coins, along with a complete overhaul to the battle pass we will discuss shortly that now has a scaling XP progression system to make the easier skins easier to get and harder top of the line skins even more difficult and rewarding. They also made sure to add a bunch of brand new perks into the game as well, such as Pathfinder, which increases the speed of the annoying ball that we have to spin on the puzzle pillars, Claw Collector, which makes the claw machine puzzle move a bit slower, and finally Puzzle Picasso, which gives you extra chances on the puzzle mode we just talked about. Along with, of course, they fixed all of the OG perks that were filled with issues and balancing problems. However, unfortunately, with this massive update to the progression system and the game's XP entirely, they actually ended up having to wipe the full database of the ticket system, and now Phase 2 restarts all of your perks progress, which is extremely frustrating because it took literally tens of hours to collect enough tickets for the perks originally, but at least the newer system is much more optimized and should theoretically be less buggy than the original. But while on the topic of new content, the next thing I wanted to discuss is the new cosmetics coming in the game. There are an absolute ton of different skin models and variations that are coming into the shop and are already in the battle pass, like a clown Boxy Boo, a rainbow Huggy Wuggy, the long-awaited Boogie Bot outfit, some niche references to characters like the Bucky hat, and tons more. Some that are my favorite include the Yarn Mommy Longlegs, the Scarecrow-esque Huggy Wuggy, the retro computer Boxy Boo, and of course, everyone's favorite, the McDonald's Burger Flipping 3000 fit. There's way too many skins to go over here, so I'd recommend checking them out yourself, but let me know what your favorite one of them all is in the comments below. Also, if you were interested, some leakers put up some diagrams showing what all the new skins are going to cost, along with a couple other skins like this Pizza Huggy Wuggy that aren't actually in the game at all, but are just hidden inside of the files. So maybe there's some more skins coming in the future in new events and whatnot, but I'm not sure. But cosmetics aside, there were also a ton of different bug fixes and quality of life improvements, but mostly a ton of of balance changes as well that make the game a lot more fair and fun to play. For starters, they redid all of the UI, which originally looked like this in the first phase and now looks fully finished in this brand new version. Plus, they also had a major upgrade to the jump scare animations that finally fixed all the bugginess and made the jump scares finally work in their full effect, which I absolutely love. They recently added a bunch of new menus into the cosmetics room that allows us to change between different loading screens along with lobby music and chase music, which in all honesty sounds amazing, and all the music there is a lot better than the original lobby music and chase music we had originally, which is definitely saying something good. There's supposedly brand new player and huggy idle animations. There's new animations for the monsters when they jump scare the player from their perspective. They updated some of the puzzle sounds and whatnot, such as the piano game, which sounds completely different now. One of the biggest changes is that they actually added a penalty to the host of the game whenever they end up leaving early, which is huge because there's nothing more disappointing than starting a game, getting monster, or having a good start in Survivor, just to have the host leave and risk the lobby shutting down entirely where you lose everything. So a penalty for the host should fix a lot of those issues. They solved the issue with the train mostly that makes it more stable and doesn't just glitch around when inside of it, and many more bugs were fixed. I'll leave the patch notes in the comments below, but there's just way too many to go over in this video. However, bug fixes aside, there were also a ton of balance changes added into the game as well. For example, Mommy Longlegs no longer has her ability to slow the players down. Her spotter ability now lasts 3 seconds instead of 1.7. Her grapple also moves 80% faster than originally, and she can jump now. The devs noted with this change that they are intended to standardize the kits for all monsters. We are looking for potential ways to re-implement an improved version of Mommy's web ability in a future update. They also hit Boxy Boo with the change as well, increasing his jump ability's charge time from 1.5 seconds to 2.75, which is so necessary since Boxy Boo is by far the best monster, and his mobility needed to be nerfed pretty hard. Although, interestingly enough, they didn't touch Huggy Wuggy's kit at all for one reason or another, when I personally think that he needed some buffs, but I guess we'll see in the future. Now, this all isn't to say that the new phase is perfect, because to be honest, it might actually be a bit further from the truth than what I want to admit, as if you've played the new map, you might have already noticed that the game is extremely buggy now. They solved a lot of the issues as I mentioned previously, but they also made a bunch of new bugs when creating phase 2, like removing the shadows of the mini Huggies from the bottom, sometimes failing to sync the UI to the actual game for some reason, things just randomly disappearing like your hands, and so many frame drops to the point where playing the map is incredibly difficult to go through without super low graphical settings, and even then it's buggy either way. Not even to mention that they also had a lot of issues in Discord with people having all of their play coins disappear with the new update as well, leaving people without currency for the brand new season. Now, they would end up releasing a hotfix the next day that fixes a lot of these issues, which is great, but I also do think I expected a little bit better in the department of bug fixing, since the game-breaking issue seems to be just as prevalent here as ever, despite the massive patch. However, the biggest question that you're probably wondering is, what about the lore of the game? Well, there's an absolute ton of lore hiding inside of this brand new phase, and I'm going to be talking about all of that and more in tomorrow's video, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications so you don't miss it. Check out this video while you wait, and peace out, guys.